Very good morning to one and all, and a warm welcome to all the listeners of this session. Unfortunately, we have started the concept of applets in the middle of discussing in multi-threads. So I think everyone understood what is an applet and how to write an applet program and how to run an applet program in Java, and how to draw different shapes in applets by using Java, by using the Java program. Okay, so apart from these applet programs and applet concept in Java, earlier we have started learning about this multi-threading concept. So till now, in multi-threading, we have seen the differences between multitasking and multi-threading. And then we have seen how multiple threads can be created in Java and how those threads can be run in Java. And then we have gone through the life cycle of a thread. So what are the different stages that a thread should pass during its life cycle? And then we gone through looking at how we can suspend a thread. So we have seen that we can suspend a thread depending upon time, depending on a condition, and unconditionally. So if we want to suspend a thread depending upon time, we go for sleep method. And if we want to suspend a thread depending upon condition, we went for join method. And if we want to suspend a thread unconditionally, then we went for suspend method. So we have till now we have covered start, stop, sleep, join, suspend, resume methods in thread programs. Okay, so in today's session, we are going to concentrate on the priority of threads. Okay, so how to give some priority to a thread, and then we can go through what is a background thread and how we can run that background thread, or how we can create our own thread as a background thread in Java. And after that, we will look at the synchronization blocks. Okay, so in today's session, we are going to concentrate on thread priorities, background threads, and synchronization blocks, right? So this is the program where we end up the previous session in multi-threading. Okay, this is the program where we end up the previous session in multi-threading. So let us have a close look at this program, and then we can discuss the priority of threads here. Okay, so see here. There is a thread A. Okay, there is a thread A here, and this particular A is going to print the numbers from 1 to 5. So there is a thread A, right? There is a thread A which is going to print the numbers from 1 to 5. Okay, at the same time, there is one more thread B here, and this second thread is going to print the numbers from something called as 6 to 10. So there is one more class called as class B, and it is having the responsibility of printing the numbers from 6 to 10. And at the same time, we have one more class C, and it is going to print the numbers from 11 to 15. Okay, and then see here, in the last class, that is class Q, we have created, we have written the main method in Java, that is the public static void main string args. And inside that main method, we have created an objects for A, B, C. So here the object for A is T1, object for B is T2, and the object for C is T3. So now these are the threads, right? T1, T2, T3. So when we create these threads, or when we create an object, obviously we are bringing a thread into new state. Okay, so from the new state, it is the responsibility of the programmer to bring the threads into ready state. or runnable state, right? So in order to bring a thread from new state to runnable state, we are going to call a method called as start method. So when we call a start method on a thread, then the thread will move from new state to ready or runnable state. Okay, from runnable to running state, it depends upon CPU. So we can't do anything. So depending upon the CPU scheduling algorithms, the threads in the ready state will get executed. Okay, so this is what we had done in this program. So if we execute this program, we are going to get the numbers from 1 to 15, where 1 to 5 will be printed by the thread number 1, 6 to 10 will be printed by the thread number 2, and 11 to 15 will be printed by thread number 3. So as we discussed earlier in the previous sessions on multi-threading, we had gone through one point that no one can predict the output of a thread, output of thread program. Okay, no one can predict, because up to ready or runnable state, we are bringing a thread, but from runnable state to running state, it is the responsibility of the CPU. We don't know whether the CPU is going to follow which type of algorithm. For example, if it is following FCFS, means first come, first serve, then we had moved the T1 into ready state first. So T1 will get executed. So if T1 is executed, it is going to print the numbers from 1 to 5. And T2 has moved next to the ready state. If T2 got executed, it is going to print the numbers from 6 to 10. And T3 has been moved last, so it will be executed last. So if it is executed last, it is going to print 11 to 15. So if these three threads are in the ready state and the CPU is following the first come, first serve, then it is going to print the numbers from 1 to 15 in ascending order. And at the same time, if the CPU is following shortest job first, so CPU will calculate which thread will take less time. For example, if T2 is taking the less time among T1, T2, T3, then T2 will be executed first. So at that particular point of execution, we are going to get 6 to 10 as first line of output, or the first output. After that, T2 got executed, in the ready state, the CPU is left with T1 and T3. So among T1 and T3, if T1 is the shortest job, then it will be executed. So after printing 6 to 10, 1 to 5 will be printed on the output screen, followed by 11 to 15. And at the same time, if the same CPU is following the round robin algorithm. So round robin algorithm means it will consider all the threads which are in the ready state, and the CPU is going to give some time for thread 1, some time for thread 2, some time for thread 3. And after that, it is going to give some time for T2, T1, T3, etc. So it will execute all the things simultaneously. So if it is done, it may print 1, 2, 6, 7, 11, 12, 3, 4, 8, 9, 13, 14. So similar. So we cannot expect the output. So it is up to you. In order to bring a thread into new state, we have to create an object for a particular class. In order to bring the thread from new state to ready state, we need to call the start method. So after calling the start method, we are not responsible of bringing the thread from ready state to running state. It is the responsibility of the CPU. So CPU is going to follow any algorithm. It is up to the CPU. So CPU will follow its own algorithm. So depending upon the algorithm which was followed by the CPU, we are going to get the output. So here, we cannot predict the output. So you can see here, I am saving and I am running the code. I am compiling and running the code. Let us see the output, and then we can discuss about the priorities, how we can prioritize a thread, or how we can tell the compiler to execute a particular thread first and to execute the particular thread last. So see here, there are no errors. And if I run the code, see here, I'm getting an output of 6, 1, 2, 11, 3, 7, 4, 12. So I think the CPU is following something called as round robin, because all the threads are executed simultaneously. I'm not getting the numbers in ascending order, or I am not getting the numbers, or I am not getting the numbers from 6 to 10 or 11 to 15 or 1 to 5. I'm getting a mixture of numbers between 1 to 15. And at the same time, if you run the same program again, you may get a different output. See here. Here we got the output of 1, 2, 11, 6. Let us keep this output first, and we can run the code again. And if I run the code again, let us keep both the outputs side by side. See here, previously I got this output, and now I got this output. And now if I run the program again, I may get a different output, because CPU is not only for your Java program. CPU has to take care of entire computer running, right? It has to run the operating system in the background. It has to run the application softwares in the front end. Okay, it has a lot of tasks to be performed in order to run the computer system perfectly. So if the CPU is taking care of all the things related to your computer, then if you are giving this Java program, means that will be executed in any fashion, depending on the algorithm that was followed by the CPU. Okay, so we cannot predict. So we are running the same program, we are using the same system, but we are getting different output when we run it for multiple times. Okay, now there comes the concept of thread priorities. Okay, see here. What is the meaning of priorities then? Priority, right? Priority. So priority means importance. Let us see. So in the above program, there are 3 threads, T1, T2, and T3. So our CPU is executing the program. We don't know. CPU is executing the program, but the output is not same all the time. We are getting an output. We are getting output randomly. We cannot predict the output. So here, what this priority means that we are giving some importance to one thread. For example, in my program, I want to execute thread 1 first. I want to execute thread 1 first. So there is one method called as set priority. Set priority. So for this set priority, here we are going to pass an integer value. Okay, we are going to pass an integer value. So that integer value may be from 1 to 10. That integer value may be from 1 to 10. So we are allowed to pass only any one value between 1 to 10. So 1 represents the minimum priority and 10 represents the maximum priority. Okay, 1 represents the minimum priority and 10 represents the maximum priority. Similarly, we can pass 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And so on 10. So if you pass 10 means that particular thread is going to be considered by the CPU first. If you pass 1 means that thread will be given least priority. And then by default, all the threads which are in the ready state will have a priority called as normal priority, and the priority value is 5. See here. So here I have created 3 threads. All the 3 threads will have the priority of 5, because 5 is the normal priority that can be given to the main thread or the T1, T2, T3, or if you create 100 threads, all the 100 threads will have the normal priority of 5 by default. So now, as a programmer, depending upon our need, we will tell the JVM or the Java compiler that to execute a particular thread first. For example, I want to execute T1 first. So if you give T1.set priority of 10, then the compiler will know that the programmer want to execute this T1 first. So the Java compiler or the CPU will come to know that it is having the highest priority. So it will try to execute it first. Okay, so after T1, if I want to execute T3 next, so we have to use T3 dot set priority. So I want to execute it after T1. So I can pass 9 because 9 is less than 10, because 9 is having the least priority than 10, or I can pass 8, or I can pass 7, or I can pass 6. Any value I can pass which is not equal to or greater than 10. We cannot pass the value greater than 10. So which is not equal to 10, because when we pass 10, it will be executed first. And then we want to execute T3 next. So T3 can be passed with any value which is less than or equal to 9. Okay, we can pass any value which is less than or equal to 9, because it should be executed after the execution of T1. And after T3, I want to execute T2. So T2 will be obviously executed because T2 by default will have the priority of 5. For example, if we set a priority of 4 here, then first T1 will be executed because it is having the priority of 10, and then T2 will be executed. Even though we don't pass any priority for T2, as we discussed earlier, for every thread what we create in the program, the priority will be 5 because it is the normal priority for every thread. So when we write 4, which is less than 5, this thread T3 will be executed last because T2 is having 5 by default. But now, if I want to execute T2 last, I have to pass a value either 3 or 2 or 1. Okay, now you can see here, it is having the highest priority. T1 will be executed first, and then I want to execute T3. So I have passed T3 4 value, and I pass T1, T2 1. Okay, so priority, we can say priority is an integer value. So priority is an integer value which will varies from, okay, something called as 1 to 10. Okay, something called as 1 to 10, where 1 is the minimum priority, 10 is the maximum priority, and 5 is the normal priority. For every thread what we create in the program, the priority will be 5. Okay, depending upon our need, we can pass any value between 1 to 10. Okay, so this is what about the thread priorities. So see here, let us do something here. So after creating 3 threads, I want to execute T1 first. So I'm going to use set priority. So I want to execute it first. That's why I have passed the value of 10. Okay, let us now compile and run this code. So see here, just a second. So you can see here, so because we have passed the T1 dot set priority of 10, so if T1 got executed, we are going to get the numbers from 1 to 5. So you can see here 1 to 5 has been printed. Okay, and then the remaining 2 threads, T2 and T3, executed simultaneously. So after executing the T1 only, then the 2 threads has been executed. You can run this code any number of times. Okay, you can run this code any number of times. So the first 5 numbers will not change. You can see here, you got 1 to 5, 11, 12, 6, 7 something. And then if you run it again, you are going to get 1, 2, 3, 1 to 5, in common, and then we are going to get 6, 7, 11, 8 something. So if you run it again, so 1 to 5 will be common in all the outputs because 1 to 5 has given the highest priority of 10. And now, if I, as I said earlier, if I want to execute T3 next, okay, I can use set priority, just a second, set priority of, okay, set priority of. For example, if I pass 6, okay, if I pass 6, so after executing T3, T1, okay, after executing T1, T3 will be executed. So 1 to 5 will be printed, and then 11 to 15 will be printed, and then see here. So 1 to 5 has been printed. Okay, 1 to 5 has been printed. Just a second. Okay, so here after printing 1 to 5, okay, after printing 1 to 5, so T3 will start executing. Okay, T3 will start executing. So after starting of execution of T3, unfortunately, I think the CPU has moved the T3 thread from running to waiting. That's why T2 has been started. Okay, so let us see. Let us do something here. So if I call T2 dot set priority of something called as 1. Okay, set priority of 1. And if we compile and run the code, so see here. So if we assign priorities to all the threads, we are getting somewhat different out. So we are setting for T1. So T1 has been started first. That's why we got 1. And then we have given the next priority to T3. That's why we got 11 and 12. And then we have given priority to T2. So that's why T2 has been executed last, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so here, if you observe all the outputs and if you see the priorities, okay, so we are not getting the full control over the threads. Okay, we are not getting the full control over the threads, but we are getting some partial control. Okay, we are getting some partial control. So in order to get some partial control over the threads, we are going for this thread priorities. Okay, so and with this I am going to close today's session. Okay, so if anybody is having the doubts in applets or in thread programs, you can raise your hands. We will clear the doubts and then we can move to the next thing. Okay, if there are no doubts, I'm going to close the session. And before that, in next class, we are going to look at the running of threads in background and then synchronized blocks. Okay, so, and I really thank each and everyone for being here. So we will meet you in the next class.